Kenneth here, huddled behind a 3AW studio blind factory blinds with the cord in my hand, ready to give it a good pull. I must say, Philip seems to be enjoying these guests who are hosting the show with him each night while Bruce is away. So I'll just whip open these blinds and Phil will get the shock of his life because his co-guest host tonight is a very important man. In fact, the leader of the Uncanny X-Men. I've seen all 7 of the X-Men movies, so it's my great pleasure to open the blinds and reveal Brian Mannix from the Uncanny X-Men. I don't remember his name in the credits. Did he play Wolverine? I'd like to meet that balloon.
Oh, buddy, what a legend. How good to see you.
Oh, good to see you, Phil, and what an introduction.
Yeah.
How about me?
You wouldn't know, but I've come to a lot of your gigs through the years, but you wouldn't have seen me out there in the dark.
No, I haven't, but I've noticed that a lot of the drink rider has gone missing while we go on stage and you sneak in and take a few beers. Good for you.
Yeah, an Uncanny X-Men groupie, mate. You mightn't know that.
Well, I'm so flattered, and I'm a bit of a Phil Brady group.
Oh,
myself.
Well, Bruce and I have talked to you so often over the years.
Well, we have
remember
indeed.
when. And do you do much radio? Do you do much of this sort of thing?
Look, over the years, I've done little bits and pieces here and there. It's it's a great fun thing to do and to talk to everybody out there. And I've done little bits and pieces, but I'm certainly putting this as a highlight.
Oh, I hope you say that at midnight. But Ken Francis, who's a mate of yours and you've known him forever, he and I have always enjoyed listening to a radio show from the States with Alice Cooper as DJ. Geez, good.
He's one of my favourite artists. He was out here recently with a band called Motley Crue, and I saw him, and he's just always puts on a fantastic show, and his radio show is terrific.
Yeah, I agree. Have you met the guy?
Oh, I wish I had.
I reckon he'd have a good sense of humour.
Well, he's a very keen golfer.
Yeah.
He used to drink a lot, but now he's off the drink, and he plays golf every day. And he's a very big Christian these days, and that's all working out well for him, and good on him.
I reckon one of, the song Only Women Bleed, I reckon that's one of the great standards.
Oh, it is, but when it first came out, there was a bit of outrage about it. People anyway, whatever.
Course.
But it's a beautiful song, and John Farnham recorded it on one of his albums.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. Ever been any controversy about any of your songs?
No, I think people just said, "Oh, turn it off." That's about as controversial as it got.
I doubt it, mate. Hey, coincidentally, and we'll talk later in the night about it, there's a new book on Michael Gudinski. And we're talking to the author in a few nights, Stuart Coop. Okay. But I'm sure that you will be starring in this big fat volume.
Well,
mushroom and all that.
I hope it's for all the right reasons. Last time I saw Michael, I got thrown out of his Christmas party, but that was just a complete misunderstanding. But I hope if I'm in there, I hope it's all favourable.
Mate, I'm sure you will be.
No, he's a very good man, Michael.
Tell us about the Michael Gudinski. He's a real dynamo, isn't he?
Well, he can't sit still. He's always walking around, clicking his fingers, clapping, saying, "Yep, this is going to be great. It's going to be great. All right, okay, we'll get the kids in the kitchen on the Joan Jett support. Yep, it's going to be great. Okay, I've got the vibe." He's got so much energy, but he's done so much for Australian music. Skyhooks and Michael Gudinski changed the Australian music industry, and to the point where we all started buying Australian records. And, and he's been there every step of the way. So good on him.
Back in. Even as early as the 60s, some of the recordings done in Melbourne were really very weak. 50s and 60s. Sydney was producing better material, I think, had better production values, and it all changed with David McKay and so on, and John Farnham and so on. And suddenly we picked up our game, didn't we?
Yeah, I think Alberts were very good too in recording, because the guys from the Easy Beats had been over in London, and then they came here and came back home and said, the recording values in Australia aren't that good. And then they sort of did a lot too. But it was a bit weak for a while, but we got there.
Yeah, and suddenly we came of age, I reckon, with people like Bill Armstrong and Ron Tudor.
Absolutely.
And other people of that calibre,
Yeah, and I think in them days too, there was a a ban on overseas records. There was a dispute.
Yes.
And so the Faber label, we'd often get...
right.
So David Cassidy would have a hit single with, say, Rock Me Baby, but John Farnham would sing it here because we wouldn't play...
You're right, or Liv Mason do a cover version of Snowbird or whatever.
Which must have been great for Australian artists at the time.
Yes, it would have been. Hey, Brian Mannix, do you see much of Molly Meldrum?
I haven't seen Molly since the launch of his book, but, you know, thank goodness he's back on his feet.
No, tonight you can kill the rumour. No truth in the rumour that you pushed him off the roof, mate. Is there? I mean,
Look, he slipped, Phil. You know, I happened to be there holding the ladder. I turned away for a sec. No, absolutely not. I certainly wouldn't push Molly off the ladder. I push him into a pool, but not off the ladder.
Now, who are some of the folk that you see these days that we would identify with? Who do you keep in touch with?
Well, I recently saw Ross Wilson. I did a gig with him up in Noosa last Thursday, which was great. He's Ross the Boss. He's the king of Australian music. I think his contribution to Australian music is huge. I bump into Brian Catt every now and then, Russell Morris, Daryl Braithwaite. I work with Scott Kahn from Kids in the Kitchen and Dale from Boom Crash Opera.
Good.
So, yeah, you know, it's a pretty small community, the music industry, so we always bump into each other all the time, which is terrific.
Yeah, but you've got a terrific project going at the moment, particularly for people who love those songs from the 80s. Just tell us what you're doing on tour.
Well, we've got a band which is made up of myself from the X-Men and Scott Kahn from Kids in the Kitchen and Dale from Boom Crash Opera. It floats around a little bit, the lineup, but Dale from Boom Crash the Opera, Boom Crash the Opera is normally there. David Sterry from Real Life, Sean Kelly from The Models, Paul from Wawanee, and basically you come along to see the show and we share the band, but basically you hear all the X-Men hits, all the Kids in the Kitchen hits, all the Boom Crash Opera hits, and all the Wawanee hits, and then at the end we do some stuff together, and it's a really fun night.
Okay, and under what umbrella? What's the name of the gig?
Absolutely 80s.
Oh, isn't that great?
Yeah, I don't know. I wish we'd called it something else, but anyway, we're stuck with that now.
Yeah, well, that sort of identifies what you're doing, really.
Well, I guess so. It describes it.
Now, before we take a break, any gigs coming up in Melbourne that we can promote?
Well, no. I'm in Sydney and Perth this weekend, and then the weekend after I'm in Adelaide.
All right.
So I presume the weekend after that I'm in Melbourne, but probably go to the Pop Shop website to.
Oh, you can always ring Bruce and Phil and tell us what's going on. You've been on that often.
Phil will be there. He's a groupie. He comes to every gig. So just ring Phil later in the week and he'll tell you where we're playing because he's such a fan of the band.
And later in the night, Ken will drop by too, because I know you've known Ken forever, haven't you?
I've known Ken since he was about 13.
I know. And now, Brian Mannix, when was the last time you were in a recording studio?
Probably about 4 or 5 months ago.
Okay, and what was your project?
Well, I just had a song that I wanted to record, and we started recording it, and it came out really well because we started playing this really silly bass line, and it reminded me of a spaghetti western, like with Clint Eastwood in it. So I thought, wow, let's just take it down Spaghetti Western Street. So there's whips and there's, you know, all those noises you hear in the Sergio Leone soundtrack.
Good, Bad and the Ugly.
It sounds like something from The Good, the Bad and the Ugly.
Has it had some airplay?
I haven't released it yet. It's sort of sitting there waiting for the right time. But
it sounds fun.
It's really fun. It's great fun.
Well, now, being Wednesday night, Andrew McLaren drops by.
Oh, we're looking forward to that.
And be nice to him because he's a music man in this network.
And he's taller than me. He'd be a good puncher.
I think he chooses the tracks he plays, so sweeten him up a bit.
All right, then.
And
I'll work on him.
Back with Andrew after the break.
Dennis